Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Always Almost There, Day After Show Live. Neil and I are together in real life today. We're here getting ready for Northlands Festival in Swansea, New Hampshire, and we are taking advantage of the beautiful study rooms that Keene State College has to offer for today's podcast. College.
Yeah.
Neil, how you doing today?
Living the college life right now. Just toured this beautiful facility. It reminds me of college. It's not the cleanest, but we're doing all right.
We're doing great.
Yeah.
We're thriving here. But we're gonna talk about last night's show in Indianapolis, of course. We've got a great guest on for you today. We've got Coop. Coop, welcome. Thank you for being here. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, gentlemen. Thank you. And I told you all that I apologize to listeners for my voice. Kind of got cooked last night, but a lot of singing to do.
I will say you sound a lot better than I do after a night of singing a lot of times. So you're doing pretty well.
Yeah. Check in tomorrow to see how Ryan sounds.
I was gonna say on Saturday. After Friday's show, or really 2 weeks from now, after I've seen many shows.
Right.
I'm sure I'll be in worse shape. But today is day one of the trip, so I'm doing great. But we're not here to talk about future shows. We will talk about those shows the day after they happen. We're here to talk about Indy last night. So this is the second time that Goose has played at this venue in Indianapolis, now called the Everwise Amphitheater. Last time they played it in 2022 was the TCU Amphitheater. Were you there in 2022, Coop?
I was not. No, I didn't go to that one. Peter did talk about it. Said it was a lot more people there last night than there were the last time they played, and they seemed hyped about that.
Amazing. Thank you, Liam, in the chat for noticing my haircut. I appreciate that.
I didn't notice you had a haircut.
Yeah, I got it yesterday before the pod, but I was wearing headphones yesterday.
Spent 2 hours in the car with this guy, and
I know. Crazy. So, Coop, tell me about your pre-show experience, getting into the venue, what the vibes were like pre-show, where your seat was, all that good stuff.
Yeah. I met up with three of my buddies. I'm originally from Louisville. I live in Cincinnati now. So they came from Cincinnati, or I came from Cincinnati. They came from Louisville. We met up. We actually went to Lou Miller's pub beforehand, and it was pretty much packed with Goose fans. So that was pretty cool to see everyone there. Had some food, got a couple beers, then went down to the venue, and the venue's absolutely beautiful. It's at a state park there. They just built kind of the amphitheater part of it, recently in the last decade, because I had seen My Morning Jacket there like 13 years ago, and it was just one of those temporary kind of festival stages. But yeah, the vibes were high. Everyone was really excited. Lots of people, lots of families. I know there's a lot of people bringing their kids. And there was a great like lawn area to the side where a lot of people were hanging out. Our seats were in the pit, which was awesome. My legs were a little nervous about that, but it ended up being amazing. And it wasn't an oversold pit, so
that's always great to hear.
Yeah, there was plenty of room to move around. So
awesome.
And just generally my excitement about Goose, it reminds me of seeing My Morning Jacket all those years ago. Just seeing not necessarily musically, just seeing a band that's really in their creative flow and building momentum, and just a lot of excitement around them. So it was really special.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great to hear. Especially I love, hearing that so many people brought their families to the show, and lots of kids there, get the next generation going already.
Yep.
Really, really amazing stuff. And yeah, we heard from, a couple of good friends of ours. Shout out Mads and Jeffy, who were there last night, along with various other of our friends who we know very well. But yeah, heard amazing things. Great also hometown vibe for Andrew Getty and Danny McDonald. Peter gave them a shout out during the show. Like they got to see their dogs yesterday, which is exciting for them. Anyway, let's dive into the show here.
Yeah, well, I'll talk about the venue a little bit.
Oh, yeah. You were there in 2022.
I was there in 2022. It's a killer venue. And I think like perfectly sized for Goose right now. I guess they sold it out.
Yeah, that's what they said. Yeah.
And when I was there 2 years ago, he said, I guess there was significantly fewer people, but it felt like actually decently well attended last time I was there. Mm-hmm. But the venue is just awesome. Like everything about it feels good. Like that coming in, there's like a lot of green space. So like in between sets, like you can go and like kind of hang out, and like it's really easy to get a drink in that place. The merch line was a horror show from what I remember. It's a big time poster at that show. It was like the stacked buses.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and yeah. So Adam's on to me.
If that did make me more inaudible, let me know. We'll adjust the mic. I think Legs' intention with raising the mic and moving it to your left was to put it in front of your face. I don't know if you cut off that.
Yeah.
You moved it the wrong way, so I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's dive into the beginning of the show here. We're going to start off with Doc Brown, All I Need, writing a novel. First Doc Brown on a while. This is our first one since Flagstaff last fall. First one with Cotter, of course. And how did you feel about these first 3 songs here, Coop?
Yeah, I mean, Doc Brown it isn't necessarily one I've been chasing as much as I know a lot of people have, but it was awesome last night. It was really fun to see Peter shred. It ended up being, I mean, Peter was on the guitar a lot, especially during that first set. So it was really fun. It got everybody moving. Then on to All I Need. I kind of call that old reliable. It's always good. Can't go wrong. Kind of got into a little jam there, but nothing too crazy. And then what was the third song? Writing a Novel. Yeah. That was great. That anybody that wasn't dancing started dancing during that. I mean, it kind of slows down, but it's got that nice groove to get people moving. Yeah. And it's just a great.
It's a Chugel song, Neil. You just don't like the word Chugel.
You're just looking forward to saying the word. You couldn't hold it back.
Yes, I always look forward to saying Chugel when the opportunity presents itself. I like this opening to the show. You know, we talk about shows that have Doc Brown in the 2-hole more than we talk about shows with Doc Brown openers. But the way Doc Brown shows up, these last few years, very exciting whenever it does happen. And this All I Need, really, really solid 15 minutes here. They're getting into this very like analog feeling jam, and All I Need the last couple of versions, at least in the first half. They're kind of in more of a minor key, but it's very like piano based and Rick playing with a mostly clean tone instead of getting into outer space with more synth heavy stuff they've been doing lately. And Novel is always one of my favorite Goose covers. Like, never gonna complain about hearing this song. Love the way that it sounds. Chugel.
Yeah. Not much to add. I mean, Doc Brown opener, hell yes. I think that tells you right away the show's going to be a little bit different.
Yeah.
And I think there's actually a couple songs that were, the harbingers of things to come. We'll talk about the other one in the second set. But Doc Brown at the start of a show, whether it's in the 1 spot or the 2, tells you they're digging deep, right? You don't get many Doc Browns anymore, so that's exciting. All I Need, just crushing it. It's always good. It was really, really good. This particular show, listened to that one a few times already. And then Writing a Novel, we were talking about this one, and we've talked about this actually, over like a couple of songs, like Rick's solo and Honeybee the other day, and then Rick's playing in Mr. Action, and then this one, it's just like rips. Like the guitar solo you get in this is incredible, and it's always been one of my favorite Goose covers, and still is. This is a nice trio, really nice trio to start a show.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I'd be remiss to not mention Rick coming out with no sleeves. They all came out laughing. I mean, I think it set the tone that it was going to be a fun night.
Right on.
Yeah, Cotter also with no sleeves.
Yes.
Last night is very notable. Thank you for reminding us to point that out.
One thing about Cotter too, I don't know if y'all noticed, I could see him. He was having ear monitor issues all night.
Yes.
Switched him out, and that right before that, Writing a Novel. I mean, it was like he got him switched and immediately started drumming. It was very smooth on his part.
Yeah, I remember seeing during the webcast they had a tech like trying to fix his monitors while he was playing. So shout out to Cotter for pushing through that. I know by the second set he had switched to the over ear headphones.
Yeah.
Which last time the drummer had to switch to the over ear headphones, we got the Eugene Bourne. So. Good thing they didn't play that last night, huh, Neil?
Eugene Bourne. Yeah, no. It wasn't Eugene, it was Indianapolis.
I'm making a joke about how you hate the
wouldn't be Eugene Bourne. It'd be Indianapolis Bourne.
Okay.
Just saying.
Anyway. Second half of the second set here. Atlas Dogs, Yeti, Everything Must Go. Nice high energy stuff here. What did you think of it, Coop?
Yeah, I love Atlas Dogs. That's one of my favorite kind of their first set songs. I know they used to jam it, but they kind of have it at that tight 5 minutes these days, and it was just awesome. Sounded great. Yeti, immediately. I mean, if everyone wasn't already really into the show, Yeti kind of elevated things to another level. Trevor sounded great. My buddy who was with me wanted me to say on the pod that they should turn Trevor up. I thought he sounded good, but I don't know how it sounded on the mix at home. But I mean, he was awesome during that. And then Everything Must Go's one of my top 5 songs. I was chasing that one, so I was very happy. And I've really been liking the new arrangement, and they jammed it out. I think speaking of Cotter, the drumming on that breakdown is really awesome these days.
I think
So
also we heard at the Cat version, those like drum samples from him. Seems like
yeah.
he's backed away from those, and it's kind of letting Jeff fill some of that part with some, nice percussion fills, which I really like. And yeah, I mean, Cotter sounds amazing on this song, and yeah, just the revised arrangement is great. Loved where they went in the jam as well. I don't think it's quite as strong as the other versions we've heard this year, but really, really solid. Sustained peak, great energy throughout. And yeah, Atlas Dogs. We started off the year so hopeful after they jammed it at the Cap. Now we're 2 versions into tour, and it's back to not being jammed. So hopefully we don't have to wait another year and a half to jam it.
Yeah.
We might, though.
Yeah, I have a feeling that's a thing that only happens once in a great while.
Yeah.
And, when you get it, it's like a jammed out, a Western Sun. Like, it's not always going to happen. When it does, you're really stoked about it. Yeah, man, Yeti was good. Yeti is continually good. We were talking about that on the drive up. It's more fun than it used to be.
Yeah.
You get a lot more of a funk jam than you get of a Peter solo. So like different vibe. So like that's exciting. And then Everything Must Go just is a certified banger at this point. We've been saying that since I've been saying that since Asbury Park last year, but
we've been saying it since before that.
Yeah. Well, no, now it is a jam vehicle, right? So when you hear the beginning of Everything Must Go, it's not like, will this be a jam like Atlas Dogs? You are certain it's going to be a jam, and it's going to be a good one. It's going to be an anchor of the set, and that's what this has become. It is now like a Madavon or a Wisteria Lane. Like when you get it, you're going to expect the band to go hard and jam and possibly type 2 exploration jam.
Yeah.
So, and that's what you get.
Yeah. And I don't know the stats on that. Do they usually play that during the first set? I was a little surprised to get that.
That's actually a great point, Coop. The first set, Everything Must Go, was in Manchester last fall. But the other appearances so far this year have been in the second set, and it has shown up in the second set a little more often. But yeah, the last 2 that happened earlier this year, obviously excluding the version played at Wilton High, which was a 1-set show, both appeared in the second set. So yeah, and I think I'm going to go back to the stats page here. This is his first time closing a set. No, maybe. Let's see. Song after. This is the second time closing the set. Okay, so it closed the second set in Santa Barbara last year. But obviously this is very different kind of Everything Must Go than that version was. Yeah, loved it closing the first set. I think it definitely works in this. Especially huge peak and kind of big finish to the song. I thought it was a great end to the set. Good point on the stats there. What was set break like for you last night? How were the vibes? Did you guys get up to anything interesting? What was the expectation or prediction for the second set?
Yeah, I mean, like Neil was saying, there's a great kind of area there, like courtyard, grassy area where all the vendors are, and there's tons of stands there. So it wasn't hard to get a drink or anything. I went and got a shirt. I was too late get a poster, so I didn't even try and find that. But yeah, everybody was really excited. And then before the second set, I mean, it seemed like they were really cooking last night. And my buddy Matt said, I think they're going to come in rocking in this second set. And I mean, Danger Zone, I don't know how you can rock harder than that. So we were excited.
Loggins, baby.
Yeah.
This was great. Yeah, I mean, I like this. I talked about a few shows ago. I like the sort of quick rocking song to open the second set before we get into the deeper jamming. This was great. This is, I believe, the first time we've heard Danger Zone with Peter on keys as opposed to guitar. Really leaning into that OB6 envelope filter synth work. Really, really great stuff. And then from there, let's just do Creatures, Shama, Moby. Let's talk about those. How are you feeling there?
Yeah, Creatures was my highlight of the night. I mean, that song is so amazing and it has such propulsive, great groove, and the jam was super solid. I mean, once that started, I was locked in on the second set, especially coming off that danger zone. Everybody was really, really excited around us. Um, then Shama, everyone was singing along. That's probably part of the reason my voice is a little rough today. That one. Uh, I kind of didn't expect it after we'd already gotten the two covers. So it was, and I mean, that's one of their classic covers. So that was a really welcome surprise. And then Moby. I mean, I know you guys are big Moby guys. So that was awesome. I definitely wasn't expecting that. So yeah, it was a good start to the second set.
Yeah, here in the Keene State dorms, they have a piano in one of the student lounges. I've already told Ryan there will be no playing Moby on the fucking piano in the student lounge.
Yeah,
Going to.
Yeah, probably going to at some point.
you should.
But Danger Zone to open a second set. Danger Zone, I think, as far as covers go, this one tells you that they're going to go hard. I think every time they've played this, something awesome happens afterwards. I mean, mainly I'm kind of thinking of Perry, where you get like a trio of logins, but I think
login suite.
yeah, the login suite. And then I think back to Boston last year, which was also a really killer show. Had a little logins there. Not just saying Danger Zone, like any logins really. So in any case, yeah, killer start to the show, and then Creature Shama. It's fun.
It was a pleasure. We did have a request from a friend of the pod, Paige Caruso, to shout out the band for bullying her continually by playing Shama one show before she sees Goose.
Yeah.
Someday, Paige, we believe that someday you will get your Shama. It will not be tomorrow, however.
I mean, crazier things have happened.
Yeah,
Maybe
they
that's
could
all
do a
part of the
one-show
gag.
gap. They could do a one-show gap.
A zero show
A
gap.
one-show gap.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Moby. You know,
I think,
I'm so happy about.
Well, I
anytime
mean,
it gets played, even if it's one show before I see them.
I think that probably they just knew, and they were like, let's get this out of the way now, so then we don't have to hear Ryan talk about it endlessly. And like,
I'm talking about it now. Anyway.
Yeah, well,
it's the best. Moby is the best.
This was a killer version too.
Yeah.
It was pretty good. And then it like absolutely melts into the drip field that follows.
So we had a couple of minutes of kind of confusion last night. Like, is this an intro to something? Are they jamming Moby? Like, what's going on? Coop, how did this feel? The kind of intro to drip field.
Yeah, I had no idea where they were going. I really did not expect to go into drip field coming out of the Moby. I kind of thought maybe they were taking that somewhere, but then once those drums kicked in, I knew we were in for a drip field, and that song is just so amazing. And I mean, a big outdoor venue like that, it sounded great.
Yeah.
The sound system there was amazing. You could really feel the bass in that. So yeah, I mean, no complaints. It was a great drip field.
Amazing. Yeah. I mean, I love also how they're kind of escaping regular drip field pretty quickly these days, especially the last couple of versions. And they got into a really nice like rock and bliss jam last night, leaving it unfinished. And then segue into Rosewood. Ooh. Unbelievable. I mean, how did you guys react to that one?
Yeah, I thought they were gonna, the kind of following the whole Jerry legacy, kind of slow it down there after a big jam. And Rosewood kind of started that, but then they rocked that thing. It got so, I kind of thought maybe they'll play another song after this, like, oh, we'll slow it down for Rosewood a little bit and then pick it back up. But they took it there with Rosewood, and it was just amazing. It just capped off such an incredible second set. And following that first set, I was shocked by how rocking of a show that was. I either mentioned on here to you guys beforehand, coming off Colorado and then 2 nights, the last night of a pretty big stretch, I thought things were going to be a little mellow, slowed down, but they were charging the whole time and really took that Rosewood to an awesome place.
What do you think of the drip Rosewood, Neil?
I mean, drip Rosewood, sick. I mean, Rosewood this year, I think now is a known quantity insofar as they're not going to drift too far from what Rosewood is, but what they do within that space is incredible, right? I think about the Cap version and I think about this version. They are so good but they don't really stray too far from the structure of the song, and that's great. That's fine. It doesn't have to be, type 2 jamming or whatever to be great. And this one was great. I think there are going to be a lot of people who are going to talk about this Rosewood for a while being like, a super top tier jam in this tour. And I'm not going to be mad at them for saying that. Dripfield, just from the beginning, was awesome. The jam going into Dripfield, now it's the second time in 3 nights where we've gotten a jam going into a song. We got that jam going into Arcadia the other night, which was absolutely incredible. This thing was incredible. And we were kind of talking about it on the way up. When years down the road, we kind of forget about this and we're not analyzing it in the moment or whatever. If you go back to listen to this is the stuff that really catches your attention and makes you remember a band super fondly. It's like these really nice finishing touches on the music that just make it feel special and different every show. And that stuff is the stuff that makes a band endure. And so these intros are awesome. It shows intentionality in giving fans something new instead of just going through the motions, which, that gets boring after a while. You get sometimes formulaic jams and songs that just sound exactly like every time they do it. And then you get something like this going into Drip, which Drip can be monotonous. We have said that before, right? Where it's just it's Drip again, and it's going to sound exactly like Drip, this other Drip that we heard. But now you're kind of getting some variations. Sometimes you get a nice little jam on the back end of it. So this is exciting stuff.
Yeah. And great point by Nate Winsta here in the chat. Could have easily went back into Drip during Rosewood. Amazing stuff last night. I totally agree. I was actually kind of hoping, at that final peak of Rosewood, I was kind of thinking they could just hit the Drip ending right here. Because they didn't, they left it unfinished. And I thought that would have been a really cool way to close the set. But I also love the kind of mellow wind down off of the Rosewood to do that. And then you get Empress Encore, quick little 15-minute version, get it in right before curfew. A little bit of the similar spaces to the St. Louis one. You got Rick on the synth pedal. What did you think of this Encore, Coop?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it was a pretty standard Empress, but that's such a fun song. And after that, the prior sets, how fun of a night it was. It's kind of the thought I keep going back to. You look at the covers, it was just a lot of joy coming out of the band last night. It seemed like they were smiling a lot. You could see them laughing to each other. And that Empress, it's such a good crowd participation song that it really closed off the night. It's such a high note. I mean, everybody left there just beaming and smiling and high-fiving. It was really a fun night.
Yeah, amazing. Well, you got any thoughts on the Empress?
Yeah, just pretty solid version. We listened to that on the way up too, and it sounded great. Not as good as the last Empress. But good. But all in all, you take a step back and zoom out and look at this show, and this is the kind of show that I just want Goose to be playing. The show has it all. It's got some jams in it. It's got great covers in it. Songs that people who've never seen the band are gonna hear and be like, oh yeah, familiar with this. Oh, this rocks. So this is. I complain a lot about set listing. If you go back 2 years ago and you look at the set list, it's actually a similar day. I don't know how far apart.
Exactly
from Indy.
2 years to the day.
2 years to the day in Indy. And that set list, not good. I just did not like that set list at all. We had gone there right after Legend Valley.
Yeah.
And it was a really interesting show because a lot of people who were at Legend Valley just kind of said well, I'll make the couple-hour drive and go over to Indy and, catch this show too. And I was expecting, a sleeper show, a heater, a really just awesome one. Didn't get it at that show.
It was a sleeper show because they were tired.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And then, I was expecting something more like this particular show, which is it's great. This is perfect set listing in my opinion. It's got the right amount of jams. It's got the right amount of covers. It's got a weird rarity kind of slipped in there to get people really stoked about that. 2 of them in Moby and Doc Brown. First set, All I Need is always awesome.
Yeah.
It's a lot of good stuff, man. It's
really,
really great show.
It's a great show. Well, that's awesome. Thank you, Coop, for joining us today to recap last night's show. We are very excited to be seeing Goose, 2 of us, along with many good friends here in New Hampshire. Excited to be seeing Goose at Northlands tomorrow. It's going to be fun. It is still being live streamed, even though it's a festival, which is very exciting. And we'll be back on Saturday afternoon from the festival potentially with a guest. We will see how things turn out. But we are looking forward to being back then. So everybody have a fantastic day. Enjoy the start to your weekend. Coop, thank you again for
Wait,
joining
before
us.
we go,
Oh,
but
before
yeah,
we
thank
go.
you, Coop. If you are at Northlands,
Yes.
come find us tonight. We'll absolutely be
Also
at
tomorrow.
and tomorrow.
We'll be there tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll definitely be there tomorrow. But tonight we'll be there going to see Annie in the Water in the campground stage.
Yes.
Stoked about that. Just wanted to say that.
Yeah.
Come find us.
Absolutely, yeah. Come say hi. We'll be there. Everybody have a fantastic rest of your day, and we will see you on Saturday.